Greetings, traveler.
All right, chat. So this is going to be a game played by Jeef, which again, you know, a lot of people just told me, hey, please watch this one. It is crazy. So here we go. So we got Demon, Dragon, Mech, Pirates, and Undead. Snap pick, Morchi, I think. That's like anagram for Chromie, right? This is where chat tells Jeef, like, I don't know if that's actually what they're talking about, but I'm assuming when he's zooming in on the MMR, it's like, oh my god, why are you bullying 5k noobs? All right, and every single streamer has to explain, guys, it's my internal MMR. I'm not actually playing against 5k noobs. I'm playing against 6k noobs. No, I mean, he's playing on China actually, so his internal MMR is 20,000 or so, which is funny if you have to say like 20,000 or so. All right, so we have our first shop that matters here. Yeah, we can see Jeef flipped the Ooze and the Worgen to the left, which makes sense. Ooze is playable if you have a shield. It's playable for sure, but he wants to go to 3, get better stuff. That does not look like better stuff, so we're going 4 on Morchi. Now, Morchi doesn't have a hero power that stabilizes you immediately, but you do get an extra time warp early, so on turn 6, I guess he's looking to stabilize with the second round of time warps. Now, that does fill his board up a lot faster, and that is your main challenge if you go 4 on 4. You do not have a board. So it's probably not the 1 costs here. Yeah, Chimera just doesn't look good enough, and Beanstalk can give him some really cool stuff. All right, so this one I knew that was coming because I read the title of the game and it says turn 6 golden egg. So minor spoiler here, he's gonna pick the egg, which makes so much sense, right? Because egg is balanced around getting it late, right? It is a major time warp card, so you're supposed to get that on turn 9, then keep it for 2 turns on your board, right? Have to tank combats with a useless minion, and then you get your big payoff of a golden 7-drop. Now, obviously, putting that on your board on turn 6 is very different, right? That is not that big of a deal on turn 6 as it is on turn 9. Boards are not so powerful. Holy, oh, what the? Hey! Are those the kind of shops you get when you hit 20k? That's insane. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 deckhands on 4 that early. That is crazy. I mean, I guess the only thing he needs is Plankwalker. Is this a second matron? Is that? I don't know. I feel like I probably would have taken Elise over second matron, but he does have the handless. It just feels like it's too much money, but then again, as long as your hand isn't overflowing, there's no such thing as too much money. But it feels a little naked, if you get what I mean, right? There's no taunts. It's just 2 matrons in the backline, so it's... Oh, they're talking about the YouTube title already. That's great. Yeah, I mean, that is... It did end up on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't die immediately, a turn 6 golden egg is going to be crazy. Okay, our matrons get cleaved, as is the custom. That is the customary result when you put 2 matrons on board without taunt. The game will find a way to give you nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's Plankwalker. He is going to go to 5 here because his board is already full. He can also hit Nala now. He does not have the Elise, right? No. Oh, right. It's Time Warp minions are in the shop. Ooh, that is nice. Wow. So a Time Warp Elise is still really nice. The question is, can he get stable with it right now? I guess he can. He can get the 5-drop, right? Man, I would be a little hesitant to use the coins just in case we would hit Time Warp. Sorry, just in case we would roll a Nala or a Plank, right? Yeah, like basically this, exactly this. So, but Jeef valued keeping the matron pair a little longer. So that's essentially what happened there, right? Because the way to use those, sorry, the way to not use those coins is you sell your matron pair, and then you can sell the minions out of hand to first roll the Nala or the Plankwalker, and then use your coins to stabilize. Now Jeef valued the matron pair more because then he can triple, get a 6-drop, and maybe can keep the matron on the board. He did get a golden whelp guy, but we don't really have whelps on the board yet, right? But I mean, you buy that anyway because you want to see your triple reward, and it's a big minion and stuff, so definitely still worth. But it is a scary spot, right? Because he wanted that... The ideal thing that could have happened there for Jeef was he picks the Timewarp Elise, and then he rolls a Nala, and the Elise makes the Nala golden, and then he still has some coins in his hand, and he can just rip through it. So it's not Sanders. Okay, it's Stitched. The reason why it's not Sanders is it's a battle cry, right? So it's a little funky that Sanders is in the pool. Oh man, we are hitting that money. That is great. So yeah, we just need a way to stabilize now. With Stitch, oh wait, Golden Shipment is insane. Okay, this is great. So this is exactly what he needed, right? He had spells in his hand, and now he has insane spell generation with the pirate. So what he needs now is a way to turn those spells into tempo, and that's where the Weaver comes in. Now he can just unleash. Ooh, Photobomber is also tempo, but he's gonna go against it. Is he gonna Nala here or not? I mean, you still have a pirate on the board, right? You're gonna Nala, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, I was like, so you're gonna Nala, right? It's like, please. Oh my god, so much money, chat. Yeah, I totally know that feeling where you're like, oh, I guess I'm leveling now. Yeah, he is really low health. That's the issue, right? So, but great finishing boards still by Jeef. He managed to get tempo from that Nala and the Plankwalker on the board, but then simultaneously also had the Weaver on the board while he was spamming the spells, and was able to find that Putricide Buddy, which he can then put next to his Golden Stitch, which, you know, then gives him even more tempo because his undead already have a lot of attack. So if you can get an extra Putricide Buddy, that's great. Okay, he's going to decide against the 7-drops, which makes sense. He had, wait, ooh, Greenskeeper on the Stitch. Man, this is I'm getting a headache already looking at this. There's so many but this is what this anomaly does, right? When you have Time Warp minions in the shop, it just opens up so many options here. But the main thing that is going right for Jeef here is that he can just spam spells and get stronger. And that's a wonderful spot to be in, right? When you have a Golden Shipment and you have like Nala, Weaver, Plank, it means that, oh, he's checking what the minion does, right? Yeah, it's a Putricide creation, so you can't tell without reading. But he's getting rewarded for spamming spells, right? So the scariest spot would be if he's in this spot, but he doesn't have that Nala, he doesn't have that Weaver. That would be really scary, because then he really needs to find a way to get stronger. Now he can... Ooh, that's a Reborn, that's another Reborn. Now he has a little bit of time to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with this Greenskeeper and Stitch? Because that's essentially what he's looking at now, right? Like, okay, I have options here. He's probably not going to Reborn the Stitch, because usually you just want to make more board space. So when your Stitch dies, you can just summon all your minions. The Reborn will pretty much never do anything. So he's only going to milk the Reborn for 1 turn, which is also fair. He is, you know, below cap, so he cannot really be greedy in that regard, because he's already going to be greedy with oh my god, here. I'll take it back, this is greedy. But it's good greed, because it is turn 9, right? Look, just like pause for a second. Like, this is what an opponent's board looks like. It's turn 9, even though he went for a lot of milk, right? We have the Greenskeeper with the Plunder guy, the Plunder Pirate that is going inside the Stitch. Ooh, I guess here, yeah, he's pointing at the handless, right? So he probably wanted Greenskeeper to trigger Stitch, and Greenskeeper triggers the death rattle of your rightmost death rattle. So yeah, the handless being over there is a bit weird. Yeah, so I guess you just need Stitch on the right. And what's on the right of the Stitch? Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you'd want to spawn another money pirate to get more money. Yeah. Anyways, he already got some value, right? So I guess like Titus would be nice, right? Ooh, wait, piloted. Okay, he's like instantly selling the dragon, which is a great strength, by the way. I think a lot of people, myself included, would look at that and say, could I do both? Could I do dragon guy and like mech guy to get even more of it? Oh, the chameleon. But Jeef looks at his board and says, okay, I can't really fit all that, right? That is like too much milk, because I have to keep this gold pirate if I want to be greedy, right? And in order to do that, like, he also needs a lot of tempo on his board so he doesn't die. So if he's going to keep the dragon, and then he's also going to keep... Oh my god, Warghoul too. I can't even finish a sentence. There's just so much crazy happening, guys. The bottom line is he needs enough tempo. And he immediately knows that if he keeps a Greenskeeper, he does not have enough board space to keep all that tempo. And now he's just thinking, like, how the hell do I do this? Like, this is a lot of stuff. Yeah, how does he do this? So Chameleon copying the Shredder is usually the line. Well, actually, no, copying Stitch is great too, right? Yeah, because if he eats like this, the pirate is gone, and then the Chameleon turns into another Stitch. Oh, that is so well done! Okay, I could not have solved that puzzle in that time. So the way how he did this is the Stitches have eaten and removed the other death rattles from the board, which means that the two leftmost death rattles are the Stitches, and then the Shredder copies both the Stitches, which is like, this is so perfect, right? Like, to do that in like the limited amount of time to see that, okay, we're gonna do this, because I think I might have just copied Sneak Shredder here because it was easier to do, but this is definitely like, this is so clean, right? Because now you have double Stitch and then Shredder copying both the Stitches. It's just like, he's not going to be able to summon that much, essentially. The opponent ran out of things for us to punch into. Holy shop, I didn't even see what he froze here. Yeah, and I mean, this is the point where I would really struggle to make use of that 9 frogs, and then there's Centurion, because you kind of have to. It's just so much value. But he sells the I guess we, yeah, order, it's fine. Another ghoul. It's just so much money, chat. Like, but yeah, you see that this is such a good thing to do. It's like, okay, I have enough, and I will not have enough time to milk all this value anyway. So I'm just gonna get like 1 or 2 spells from the Centurion, that's fine. I'm going to get, you know, 1 or 2 spells from this 9 frogs, that's fine. I don't need that many golden Warghoul. Only in this anomaly, man. Okay, so we're selling our scaling. This is, well, I mean, we're changing our scaling, I guess is the more accurate way to say. Well, what even happened this turn, bro? Like, it's just so clean how he sells out of, okay, now the money is gone and the Weaver is gone. We've scaled our attack enough. So what does this board even do? We reborn the Stitch with full things. Okay. Then the Ghoul is gonna trigger the Stitch, which doesn't do anything if we don't have board space, right? And then the Chameleon will trigger will be a Ghoul? No, it's a Hag. I don't know, bro. I doubt this is optimal, just because, like, how the hell are you supposed to figure that out in whatever time was allotted? Like, this is a tricky one, man. I don't know if the Hag matters. I'll be honest. I think the Hag is maybe a little debate right now. Hey, RK, thank you very much for the 2 months. Welcome back. But I mean, it's so hard, right? Like, there's not criticism in the slightest. This is me trying to figure out, okay, what the hell do you even do here? Because there's so much stuff. Now, he did pick up Ghoul Cabra, and you do have a lot of triggers with Ghoul, potentially Stitch interaction, so that was great, right? That's how he can really get big on his board now. So we have a freeze on a reborn. Yeah, the Hag's out. I like that. The Hag looks good, right? And then it's just like, eh. Sure, take a thing, right? It doesn't matter here, I think. So the Chameleon, oh man, what is even gonna happen here? Yeah, reborn Ghoul for sure, right? That's the way to go. So Titus will still give you a lot more triggers, which is, oh, there it is, which is good for your Ghoul. Right, your Ghoul Cabra will scale. Oh, he's named as a wanted. Wow, wait. What's the game plan? Is Titus just bad for board space, or what am I missing here? Why don't we want to trigger the Ghoul Cabra more? Maybe the Ghoul Cabra is not what he's going for. But, like, that's a lot of death rattle triggers we'd get. It's just a board space thing where he feels like he needs... Oh, he needs Photo Bomber, and he just can't fit Titus. Okay, we are bombing. Okay, I mean, he does need to counter this, so that does make a lot of sense. Man, I would have loved to try and fit a Titus in here though, because the amount of death rattle triggers with the Ghoul and the Titus is obscene. Because Titus is what really makes Ghoul crazy, right? Because then you double dip the death rattles. Because then the Ghoul triggers more because of... The death rattle triggers more because of Titus. And then the Ghoul is a death rattle, which then triggers the thing. But it's like even more if you have a Titus. Like, it's hard to explain, but it like if you have a golden Titus, instead of 3 times the death rattle, you go to 9. Right? Which is crazy. Like, what even is going on this board? Wait. So the Ghoul summons a Ghoul. Wait, what? Sorry. What's going on? What is this? Sorry, guys. I need to, like, to understand this, I need to go back for 1 second. I apologize. Okay, so let's look at what's on the board in what order. So the ShadyBunny is a Stitch and a Ghoul. And the Stitch has Ghoul and Photobomber in it. So when the Ghoul dies, the Ghoul triggers the ShadyBunny, which then summons a Ghoul because the ShadyBunny has the death rattle of the Stitch, which the death rattle reads, summon a Ghoul. That is funny. So that's why the Ghoul keeps coming back. The Ghoul keeps coming back because it's next to ShadyBunny, and the ShadyBunny has the death rattle of the Stitch, and the Stitch's death rattle reads, summon a Ghoul. Okay. Okay, wow, that... I needed to pause for a second and really understand that. That is not easy to see. Like, how do you even build that? How do you even build that, bro? Since you don't have space, you don't summon a mech. Yeah, not often, yeah. You summon it in the beginning, that's it. But if you have Titus here, right? That Ghoulacabra triggers so much more per death rattle that triggers here. So I think if he knows he's going to get like this infinite loop thing, then adding Titus would just make him scale more with his Ghoulacabra, I believe, right? Because you would just get more triggers and Ghoulacabra works based on triggers. Is this just infinite? I think it is, right? As long as that Ghoul never survives, right? If that Ghoul ever survives, then the mech starts attacking. Our Ghoul attacks now, right? Which just keeps dying. It's the perfect counter to this comp. It just keeps dying and resummoning, and it's just an infinite tank, bro. It's an infinite tank. What the hell? It's just absorbing everything. It's like this wall you can't get past. You should listen to Jeef as well. Okay, let's open up the Jeef audio here.
Eyes. So it's not like it's infinite, but like not really like infinite, but I don't know, it's stupid. That's all I know.
Yeah,
it's like, what if this attacks and dies? And then,
it's
like,
infinite adjacent. That's good enough. All right. Sorry, I'm not gonna have Jeef on the whole time just because it's a little weird, right? Because then I'm gonna want to listen to what he has to say, and I'm not gonna be saying. So essentially, we have, and I fully encourage anyone, right, who hasn't seen it. I think most of you have already seen the game because it's on YouTube. It's crazy amounts of views. It's great. But obviously, for the few people who haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching the original video with all of my reactions, of course, right? So I think even if I have Jeef's audio on here, I think that detracts a little bit because I really want to make sure that people also watch the original if they haven't seen it already, right? I think, again, for most people, it's like they've already seen it, right? Okay, so we're going to keep the photo bombing. Yeah, I mean, this is like basically the same we've had last combat, right? So let's see if it is just infinite. This is a flip? Whoa. Wait, are we not just infinitely summoning taunts? How is it? Oh, the deck tracker probably just doesn't understand this. Like, that's fair. I was like, the deck tracker's like, bro, I do not get paid enough to analyze this shit, bro. Do you know what you just made? Like, call it a 50-50. He either lives or he doesn't. There you go. I think that's fair. I think that's a reasonable reaction by deck tracker. It's a 50-50, right? He gets there or he doesn't. Because, I mean, having to calculate all this shit seems annoying. All right. Yeah, he is attacking with that, right? Yeah, it's not quite infinite, because if the Sneed Buddy ever dies, then the ghoul no longer triggers Sneed Buddy, which means it's no longer going to resummon itself. I don't think it is a 50-50, right? But you can see how it's not infinite, right? I think this is 100%, right? Question mark? Question mark, 100%. But it does, I can see how it runs out. Once the Sneed Buddy attacks and dies, the ghoul no longer triggers Sneed Buddy, which means it doesn't resummon itself anymore. So yeah, you can see how it runs out. Another chameleon here would be insane, right? Another ghoul, wait. Does that do anything? Yes, photobomber, but yeah, I can see it being weird. Yeah, I mean, the Titus is weird now. I think it would have been okay for earlier scaling. Ooh, another reborn for ghoul. Oh, he has reborn in the hand. He doesn't need that. It's just like reading. Oh, what is this? Deos. So we're out of photobomber to play another Warghoul. Oh, we're going to eat both Warghouls. Does that do anything? Does that change it? So what's changed now that he has two ghouls? Yeah, the start of the fight is super slow because the game is like, I can't calculate all this shit. What are you guys doing? Ah. All right, so both ghouls are dying and both ghouls respawn. Oh, what changes now is that he has two taunted ghouls. Does that change anything? No, because when a ghoul dies, it would just resummon itself, right? Maybe the positioning is better with two ghouls? That golden ghoul, how did it end up between the two Sneed Buddies? Is that just like the reborn? Like what? Yeah, you can see that it's triggering it, right? It's not an infinite amount, it's just a lot of triggers, right? Because there's nothing... Wait, no. Maybe it is infinite, right? Yeah. Oh, because he has ghoul in there now instead of photobomber. Right. That's what changed. Oh, so it's ghoul triggering ghoul. Right. So this is actually a forbidden interaction. So Jeef is going to be sent to jail for this. Yeah, that sucks. It's actually a... Yeah, it's because the Warghoul explicitly says it can't trigger Warghoul. But Sneed Buddy is technically not a Warghoul. So Jeef is using a loophole here. So you have a Warghoul triggering a Warghoul, 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 triggering a Warghoul. Okay, I get it now. Of course that's better. Yes, that's a lot better. That is actually, he's done it now. He's actually infinite. Because it's just the Obama meme the whole time with the medal. The Warghoul is like, I trigger you, sir. No, I trigger you, sir. Oh, what a wonderful death rattle you have there. Yeah, well, your death rattle is not bad yourself, sir. Here, have another. And then every time he does that, the Gulacabra is like buff. Because even though nothing is happening, because Warghoul is triggering Warghoul, which says trigger Warghoul, which then trigger Warghouls. Because he has Gulacabra, his board is getting +2/+2 every time. So yeah, that is stat cap. Yeah, overflow. I don't know if that's actually, I don't know. Like, the game never was designed for this, right? So you technically, if this would function optimally, all of his minions would have 2.1 billion stats. If it's no overflow, but I know that frogs can overflow. I know they fixed overflow for some things, but then for frogs, it's not fixed. But if the game would work perfectly here, well, first of all, this wouldn't be possible. This would have been coded as an exception. But again, only Jeef does this, right? Like, the developers aren't thinking like, what if somebody uses Warghoul with a Sneed Buddy and they have a Stitch and they trigger the thing? It's like, no, right? They're not prepared for this. Oh, we're getting money. That's great. Some recognition for us breaking a game. Yeah, so technically, if this interaction is allowed, which, yeah, okay, I knew it. But logically speaking, once you allow this interaction, which is death rattle that triggers a death rattle that triggers a death rattle that triggers a death rattle infinitely, with a Gulacabra on the board, you should have 2.1 billion stats, which is a stat cap. But again, who knows what's gonna happen? This is uncharted territory, right? No one's done this, at least that I've seen, right? Maybe someone has done this. Some guy out there on a Friday night being like, oh, holy shit, right? Probably not, but it's possible, right? But this is the first time we've seen it on video. Yeah, I mean, that is, I can see why people wanted me to watch this one. All right, so I do expect there to be some kind of reaction to this, because this is not something you're going to build if you don't know that it's possible. But now that you know it's possible, you can actually replicate this, right? In this anomaly, right? Just to be clear. Because now that you know, you can say, oh, so as long as I have Warghoul and ShadyBunny, I can have my Warghouls in the front, and then my ShadyBunny will copy my Warghoul, and then they will just copy each other the whole time. So now you can replicate this, kind of, right? Like, you still have to be very good at the game and lucky and stuff. So I do expect there to be some kind of a patch where they say, oh, Piloted Shredder and Warghoul no longer interact with each other or something. Like, yeah. That is an absolute crazy game. And again, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, I'm going to link it in the chat. If you're watching it on YouTube, there'll be a video description. Make sure to check out the original played by Jeef. Absolute crazy game.